I'd like to welcome everybody to Clergy Talk Podcast, The World Wants to Know. On this episode, I have a person who wrote a magnificent book about miracles. And I'm going to turn it over to my guest, Dee, and she's going to give us some background information. And we got a great show and story for us tonight. Take it away, Dee.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me on the podcast. So I want to give a little bit of information about myself. I retired about a year and a half ago after 50 years working. And I thought, all of this free time is going to be great. Didn't count on the things that were going to happen. But first of all, I have a wonderful husband who's also retired. So we spend time, and I have 2 kids. Unfortunately, my son passed away many years ago. So I have just one daughter. And her husband, father of her 4 children, passed away a year ago.
Oh, my goodness.
So we've had a lot on our plate, and we decided we have one grandson, and he just turned 17 and graduated from high school and got his associate's degree at the same time. And we wanted to give him some hope and some freedom away from his father's passing so that he could focus on some fun. Okay. So his thing that he wanted on his bucket list was to see a grizzly bear. And we had been following Grizzly Bear 399 and her yearling cub Spirit, and had never seen them in all the times my husband and I had gone up to the Tetons. So we went on June 11th, started at 7 a.m., tracking everywhere that we could think of in the Tetons that we could see her and her cub. It was about 7 p.m., and there was a line of a couple of hundred people outlining this meadow where we were, just a remote meadow. And we got word that they had seen the 2 bears. So we were so excited. We get out of the car, and my husband's a photographer, sets up his camera. They emerge from the forest into this open meadow with beautiful yellow flowers. It was amazing. And people just start clicking. And out of the corner of my eye, I see my husband go down to the ground, drops like a stiff board. And someone yells, "He's having a heart attack."
Okay.
And out of these bystanders, couple hundred bystanders standing there, we got several EMTs and paramedics, and a woman goes running down this long line of cars. "Do we have a doctor? Do we have a doctor?" And a teenage boy pushes his dad out of the car, who's a doctor, and says, "Dad, go save that man." Turns out this doctor just happened to be there to see what all the commotion was. He was not really interested in the bears. And he came forward, and he's the one that oversaw the whole rescue mission.
Wow.
And his specialty was in critical care in an ICU.
Wow. Talk about a miracle.
Yes. So that's how it started out with all the miracles. And my husband, they were able to bring him back one time, and he died again, and he did that twice. And on the 3rd time, they're using the defibrillator, and there's a really muscular paramedic who's just pounding on my husband's chest. And someone yells out, "Are we even going to need a helicopter to transport him?" And the big, broad shoulder paramedic says, "Oh, yes, he is very much alive." Yep. And everyone cheered. It was just wonderful. And the whole time, my grandson was calm through all of this, and I couldn't understand why. He told me later that his father, who had passed away, spoke to him and said, "Help Grandma. Wow. Grandpa's going to be okay."
Wow.
So there were so many miracles manifested in that meadow, as you mentioned, the first one, and there were several others. And I knew I received inspiration to write the book, and I'd never written a book before. So I hesitated, I resisted, and it was no, the spirit kept telling me you need to write the book for two reasons. One, to help process all the trauma that I had experienced from my son passing and then my son-in-law, and watching my husband. He laid on that asphalt road for an hour where it was touch and go. He came back, then he left, he came back. And then also, the other reason is to share with others that miracles still happen. It's not just from prophets of old, they happen every day to ordinary people like us.
I agree 100%. How's your husband doing right now?
He is better than he's felt in 20, 30 years.
Well, God bless his heart. Definitely. That's good. That is so good.
Yeah. And so when we arrived at the hospital, the first hospital, I was greeted by a cardiologist who told me, your husband will be dead by Christmas. And this was
Mm,
in June last year. If he doesn't get triple bypass surgery, but if he gets the surgery, he will die. He won't
wow.
survive.
Wow.
So I want to break it off there, and I don't want to give all the details of what happened, but my book, Miracles in the Meadow, will give all the information that we've talked about, plus lots more, and an epilogue that gives details of medical information that we never knew and the cause of his heart attack.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is they put him in a coma to transport him to the first hospital
Okay.
to keep him safe so he wouldn't wake up and move. And
Okay.
so he didn't remember a lot. It affected his memory for several weeks. And he is starting to get some memories back. And this is what he does remember, is when he was laying on the ground and he was not able to hear us. He went to a field somewhere, bright lights, and a personage with even brighter light spoke to him and said, you have a choice to make. You can stay in heaven or you can go back down to earth. It's your choice. And after my daughter and grandkids had just lost their husband and father, and he worried about me, he knew he had to come back. So he did. And the next morning, the doctor said to him, you don't look bad for someone who died 3 times.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
So that's all I have, unless you have some questions for me.
Oh, wow. So I agree with you 100% that miracles do happen, still happen. They're going to continue to happen. I had once before did some research and just Googled how many life miracles took place when someone was told they're going to die and then they don't die and they come back around and make a full recovery. So I believe in miracles 110%. So tell my audience where you can get the book at, where they can get the book at.
It's available on Amazon as either an ebook, paperback, or a hardbound. And again, the name is Miracles in the Meadow. One other fact I wanted to share is after his heart attack, I did a lot of research on the web and to find out he had a widowmaker heart attack. And I wasn't that familiar with widowmakers. They're notorious for being widowmakers. And 12% of the people that have one outside of a hospital or a medical facility will survive, only 12%.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot. Well, I know I'm trained in first aid, so I know the fact that he was getting the compressions helped out a lot because the compressions keep the heart from pumping. If nobody was there to give him compressions, then he probably would have died. So thank God for that paramedic or EMT that said they kept on giving him compressions and wouldn't stop. So that's one thing they tell us in first aid class that if somebody's having a heart attack or if somebody's out, keep on giving the compressions to the paramedics come and do what they do because they got better stuff to get the person going again. So That was a blessing that that gentleman didn't give up.
Right. And there were some other EMTs that happened to be there and a retired park ranger. And because of those people there, we were able to get the ambulance a lot quicker. Because if you remember, we were in a remote meadow in the
Yeah.
Tetons, nothing around. And they were able to get the ambulance, which had the defibrillator in it and all the other equipment and supplies that they needed that would not have normally been there. And it went on for about an hour.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is amazing. That is definitely an amazing story. I'm gonna have to get a copy of your book myself just so I can read it and see what's all going on in it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Well, Dee, do you have any last words for the audience? Any advice or anything you like to share with us besides the book and everything?
Well, I would like to just reaffirm about miracles how much we are loved and we are never alone. And sometimes we don't recognize miracles as large as what we had or smaller, but they're always around us. They're not coincidences. I don't believe in coincidence anymore. And I hope with the state of the country right now and everyone's so upset and there's so much negativity, we don't have time for negativity. We need to bring our faith back to God and God alone, and He will help us get through. And my husband's walking proof of that. And every day, I'm so grateful that he's here.
Well, that's some definitely great advice because you are on point on that. We got too much negative going around with this country. Everybody needs to get back to the Lord and can you continue to give him the glory and keep on loving our neighbors, and that will solve a lot of problems right there as well. Well, Dee, I want to thank you for sharing your book with us. I definitely got to get a copy of it and read it.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mike.
for, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for appearing on Clergy Talk podcast. I'm going to keep you in my prayers, your husband in my prayers, your family, your grandson, and tell him he's got the whole world rooting for him now. Since when I found this episode, he's gonna have everybody rooting for him now. So
Yes, I'm so grateful. So grateful. He is on a mission for our church, and he's going around spreading all the miracles to everyone else. He's doing a great job. So
that's
thank you so
wonderful.
much.
That's wonderful. With that being said, we're going to close our episode, and I will keep you in my prayers and ministry. And you have a blessed day. And I hope that book Miracles touches lots and lots of people.
Thank you so much, Michael. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye bye.